This is dedicated to my grandma, Arlotta Perkins. On each Easter, she would always bring the grasshopper pies. I think of her today. This is called Impact. Impact. I don't get to vote. Life has a way of designing today. Impact. I don't actually like the sound of the word, because there are times when an impact sounds like something smashing right into the ground. Impact. Wait. Stop right there. Impact doesn't always sound like a car smashing explosively into a tree. Wait. I say it again. Impact. Like it or not, impact. It just is. Impact. Now I think of my grandma. Her impact has left some of my favorite marks, and her memories are part of my daily heart. Impact. I used to stay with her many weekends, back when she was a church housekeeper. I love the way my grandma would make me a bedtime snack. Each time she took care, setting the table for me, including a nicely folded napkin and OJ in a real glass. She'd cook my egg to perfection, a fried egg turned over gently with a hand-broken yolk that was lightly salted and peppered, then placed on a perfect piece of toast. First covered with real butter, followed by a thin veneer of Hellmann's real mayo. Opening my mouth, taking a bite, ever so gently, the mayo tang flavor would sneak through and taste bright, in contrast with the crisp piece of toast and the egg so smooth. Now that impact tastes good. Now when I miss my grandma, I copy that egg each time. Not only that egg sandwich, but her scrambled eggs too. Maybe breakfast is my favorite meal. To make, to eat, to imitate. Because now that I think about it, that is a major way that her impact shines through. Impact. It's not that she got to vote what part of her that I hung on to. She just lived how she lived, and her way just made its way through from her and into me, and maybe into you. Rummy 500 cribbage, always having water in a glass in her fridge. Eating real butter when margarine was the way. I always copied her choices, thinking that if it was good enough for her, it was good enough for me. She knew how to wear white like nobody's business. With her summer brownberry tan and silver hair, she literally would capture everyone's stare. Not because she was a magazine model of shapely beauty, but more because of her radiance of contrast from all that she'd risen through, that she kind of reflected a deep kind of truth. Like she knew who she was, like she didn't care what someone else thought of her, because she'd risen to right there. She didn't have a say the way she impacted those around. She'd just show up and shake a hand, saying, "It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance," with her smile and her glow. It was like by the time she was older, she just knew that people needed to catch a little glimpse of the beauty of who they were, too. And her own life spark leaked onto them, making a mark. She wasn't afraid to stand in a gap, knowing that were some who needed just that. She'd help them with laundry or fix countless holes in favorite jeans. She could remove the stain in a shirt until it became like it was new all over again. I'll remember her fondly, as many of her grandchildren do. I was the youngest of her grands. Arlotta Perkins, born June 23, 1910, passed into glory 2006. Wife of Kenneth Percival, mother of Lloyd, mother of Jack, mother of James Kenneth, mother of Janet Kay, known as my mother today. Son Lloyd had Becky Sue, Peggy Lou, and young Lloyd too. Jack was the proud father of John and Jackie, and later Cheryl too. James Kenneth, called Jim, was dad to Susie, Mary, Bo, and Jane. Jim liked to live as a Canadian. While my mom had Stephen, Elizabeth, Patrick, and Kate. My mom often called me Kate the Great. You know how a loved one lives on? You capture all their beautiful parts, you give grace to the gaps, and you imitate like crazy all of your favorite impacts. A beautifully handwritten letter a tidy, clean home, a meal that people rave about sunset to dawn, Texas sheet cake brownies, my favorite cheese poof, a hot fudge for ice cream that was to die for, if I could, homemade Afghans, I still have mine today. Thank you, Grandma, for helping me to see I too have a path bigger than me. I can only do what I do and invite people in. As we gather, we grow. As we grow, we share. As we share life, an impact occurs. An impact. It's just what happens when our lives intersect. The cool thing is, we may never know or see how or when we just do what we do, an impact begins. Maybe I do like the sound of the word impact after all.